If you're listening to anything we're saying here today and you're curious at all about AI, there's going to be two types of losers and one type of winner. Tell us who it is.
The first loser is the person who ignores this. The next loser is the agent that's going to take this technology and put it between them and their consumers. And if that's how you're going to use it, you are going to lose.
Well, the top of the morning to you, and welcome to It's a Good Life. I'm your host, Brian Buffini, and today we have, not only a special guest, but something that we are literally on the edge of Star Trek. We are going to boldly go where no Buffini has gone before. This man is my new favorite Canadian. I got to play golf with Wayne Gretzky one time, and I got to say I love the great one, but this one here, Wayne is now number 2 in my book.
I'll take it.
His name is Michael Thorne. Michael's not just a marketing visionary. He's also an AI expert. And I don't know about you guys, but my exposure to AI is somewhere between ChatGPT is cool. Kids are using it to write their papers. It's going to be the future of all things. And by the way, thermonuclear disaster is coming, and all those post-apocalyptic movies are about to be true. And so I've never seen anything that has come with more intimidation. I've been around a long time. I started Buffini Company before the internet was up. Okay, not publicly. Netscape hadn't pulled its deal yet until New Year's Eve 1996. Buffini Company was actually, as of today, incorporated 30 years ago today. And in my 30 years and the previous 10 in real estate, I've never seen anything that's come with more excitement, enthusiasm, and it's like, we're going to be running around in post-apocalyptic wherever. The Book of Eli is coming. And so I really have gotten to know Michael over the last year. Michael is a phenomenal human being, a great practitioner. And we're going to talk about today is the launch we've partnered up with Mike over the last 9 months. And as of today, we are launching the Buffini Company AI Bootcamp, which is a training program on how to get people educated and brought up to speed on how to leverage this remarkable tool that'll change so many businesses and lives. And I'll tell you more details about that. But as of today, we're going live. What I love about Michael is he takes the complex and makes it simple, makes it understandable, and takes away the scariness of it. Also, he's a teacher, and he's able to teach and train you exactly how to do it. Now, I am the least tech person in the world that I know of. My kids think I have an extra chromosome or something because electricity tends to systems fall around me. But as I have applied myself to the outline of this boot camp, it is unbelievable, even in my own self, just tooling around with this AI. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to change the world. If I had this as a small business owner, and oh, by the way, as I have it as a large business owner, this is going to revolutionize my company today and everything it touches. So that's the longest intro I've ever done, Michael Thorne. Welcome to the show. I'm so delighted to have you, so proud to know you, and so just amazed at watching the last 9 months as you have collaborated with the team at Buffini Company to build, the absolute cutting-edge training program on AI in the world.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey at every turn. Everyone at Buffini Company have been remarkable. And right from the get-go, I think everyone there saw it the way I did, is not a tech to, put in the way between us and our consumer, but to streamline the back end to make us more human. And I think that's where most people get this wrong, and it's where all of you got it right away.
Right. It's not going to replace us. It's going to emphasize us. It's not going to take us away from our customer. It's going to take away so much of the stuff that takes us away from our customer. Radical organization, radical systemization, massive buyback of time, massive. I was shocked. And we're going to get into some of those numbers today. Genuinely shocked. And when we've put people in here, it's like literally people saving 5 hours in a day going, what in the world? And seeing people able to be radically more productive, make a lot more money, be a lot better for their customers, and do it in literally a fraction of the time. And it just sounds too good to be true. It sounds like the infomercial. When the internet was, websites were being sold in real estate, they go, people are just going to tour your house online, click, add this to my shopping cart, and they'll email you your check. And I would go, BS, not true, never happening. I have the opposite experience with AI. And I went, oh my gosh, this is it. So you had a phrase that said AI is not the next thing, it's the only thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've lived through it too as well. I lived through the internet as a real estate agent in 1995, and at that time we, heard agents saying, I won't participate in the internet. And it seemed like a rational thing to say at the time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to participate in this. But now looking back, history will show us like how wrong those people were. I mean, right now we are doing a television quality show over the internet in 2 different locations, and it's easy.
Yeah.
And so if you think the internet has changed society and the way that real estate is done, both as buyers and sellers and as practitioners, this will end up being a bigger impact on our personal and professional lives than the internet. And here's the thing, and why this training is so important, it's going to happen much, much faster.
Right.
And it's that speed that is going to leave so many behind, because it's not going to wait for us to sort of get comfortable. It's moving ahead very quick. I mean, week to week, new opportunities are presenting
Which is
themselves.
also why we've had a ferocious commitment of time and talent and treasure to support this, to build it into a training program where I can take anybody, including myself, who has to get his kids to, reset the time on his phone, to be able to use AI. And I'm happy to say I'm already using this stuff. I've already used it in certain ways that I'll talk about in a minute. Before we delve in there, just a tad, people might have heard a little bit of oot and a boot and a little bit of an accent. Tell us a little bit about Michael Thorne, who you are, and how in the heck you ended up in the AI business.
Well, I have a very non-typical real estate story. I grew up, I live in at the time it was a small town about 30 minutes east of the amazing city of Vancouver, British Columbia. It's now a great, big, amazing area full of great neighbors. And at the age of 15, Brian, I decided I wanted to be a realtor. And about a week or so later, I found myself employed as an assistant, soaking up everything I could learn about the business, and was licensed on my 19th birthday.
Wow.
And at the time, as you know, it was door knocking, cold calling, open houses, and ads in newspaper. And everyone had the same 4 opportunities. There's no way to do your business different than the person down the hallway. And being no sphere of influence, that was purchasing property at the age of 19, couldn't grow a mustache, all the things that made me look the age that I was. When the internet came along in 1995, I went, oh, maybe this is something I could do that gives me an advantage over the people that are going to see this change as challenge, as opposed to seeing the change as opportunity. And I partnered with my amazing business partner still today, Jorda, in the late 90s. And one thing we have in common is we've always been hyper focused on client experience, raising the client experience. And at every turn, be it paperless extremely early, like 2004, 2005, paperless, video communication really early. Always wasn't concerned about the burden of us bringing on a new way of doing business if it improved the client experience, if included the, that repeat and referral wow factor. And so every single time something new comes along, we look at it as, will this help the client experience? Right. And Trish joined our team 13 years ago. We all believe in that one thing. AI comes along in the fall of 2022, instantly see the real application, or the best application that I see, is freeing up time so we can spend more time with a nervous first-time home buyer, as a way of, oh, wow, now we can slow down and really serve our clients, really be with them in the most meaningful hours of the transitions that they're going through buying and selling real estate. Right. Saw it immediately.
And somewhere along the line, you came across Buffini and Company and said, hey, these guys got the relational piece down. And so,
we've been a Buffini team for a long time. Sure. I mean, it's just such a natural fit. I'll tell you a funny story. We're taking 100 Days to Greatness for the second time, and we're sitting across the table, in our group with a very, very new agent. And Jordan, Trish, and I had taken it before, and we were taking notes and bouncing ideas off each other. And the guy across the table had pages and pages and pages and pages of notes. And I asked him at the break, what are you writing down? Because I felt like he's getting more out of it than I am. And he's like, I never thought about just taking great care of people. Wow. You know what I mean? Like it's always was in our nature to be that way. And so we were able to tweak and improve what we do. But for some other people, it's this eye-opening way of doing business.
Revolutionary. Well, and I think it's something the Irish and the Canadians kind of have in common. the hospitality and the welcoming. And that's why where we're going to land on all this stuff is what we're going to share with people, that you can be high tech and super high touch. In fact, the more high tech you are with this, the more high touch you're going to be. And the greater experience, the greater connection, the greater the level of service and intimacy with the customer, and by far the greatest level of endorsement and advocacy from the customer. So let's go right now. People are like, okay, get to it, boys. You're 10 minutes in. Starting at the most basic level, what is AI?
It's a cheat code. It's a 1980s video game cheat code. It's unlimited lives. And so if you look at it that way, how can the agents in your marketplace play by the old rules while you're playing with a cheat code? I mean, it's just when you start to use it, and I mean for real estate applications, not the I use it to write my listing descriptions, but really start building your business with it and getting the best out of it. You go, wow, that would have taken me weeks to do that new system or that new business planning. It sees insights. So,
and by the way, we have a ton of people listening to the show who are not even in the real estate business. And this program is going to blow them out of the water, right? Because you've got this dynamic. Everybody needs a cheat code, and here's the key: we're the trusted source. We're the trusted source, and you know what? We should be. We've been coaching and training people for 30 years. We're not people who came up with an idea. We're on Instagram and like, who are you? What are you? We've coached over 125,000 small business owners, the largest small business and medium-sized business coaching company in the world. We've had dramatic results. You know the results. Our average client, 10 times their competitors. And that's why we had to get on the cutting edge of this. We had to get on the front. I mean, it's, here's the Avengers, right? And Thanos goes, I am inevitable. AI is inevitable. There's a reason why NVIDIA is one of the 7 biggest stocks in the world. There's a reason all this stuff's behind it. So when you mention AI, Michael, people's first thought is doom and the Terminator. What are some of the common misconceptions about AI?
I think the biggest misconception for a lot of people that I find that when I speak to them, their perception of the opportunity is a lot smaller than it actually is.
Right.
Like 30% of my audience at the beginning of the talk says that they're intermediate users of AI. Come the 75% mark, it's 2%.
Yeah.
And that
they're
should
ChatGPT users.
Yeah,
Right.
But that should be a really exciting thing for someone when they realize, oh my goodness, the opportunity is way bigger than I perceived it to be. That's a really exciting thing, and not a comment on your ability to adapt. It's like, if you don't know the opportunity is there to use it in a certain way, and that's what we're bringing to them, is to show them. Then you don't see it. So the biggest thing is, it's not as big as it is now, and probably underestimating the impact it's going to have on society moving forward.
Let's just talk about this for a second, okay? I'm in my new little corner office in my upstairs of Buffini company. We sold the other building. We built this cool little studio up here. Here's the way it works in the world today. There will be more people who watch and listen to this podcast than CNN tonight. And I've been a real estate trainer who became a business coach who started a podcast, okay? That's the world we're living in. And by the way, this setup here and whatever else, when I first built my studio 9 years ago, it was a giant investment. And today, not so much. And I'm looking at you in high def, and you're looking at me in high def, and the quality is awesome, and we're here together. My team just whipped this thing together in the last few days. So I'm going to say this. In the past, and I did it. I did the best-selling book tours, and I went to New York, and I went to all the big shows, and went to these guys and whatever else. And today, who needs them? That's I don't need to get on a plane, talk to New York, so they give me 60 seconds to talk about a book that they haven't read. I can go direct to people. And so this is a small example of what I believe AI is coming. And what I think it's the most, and I'm always right, I'm that little Irish immigrant, I'm the champion of the underdog. Here's what I believe. It can make small businesses operate as big businesses.
Absolutely.
With smaller commitment. Yep. People can have giant revenues and giant impact without having giant staffs and giant financial commitments. And so the beautiful thing, there's an egalitarian beauty to this whole thing, where all of a sudden small business owners can be big business owners without having all the headaches of owning a large business and hundreds of people. And I look at it and I go, we're here today having a broadcast quality experience together that's going to be listened to by a ton of people.
Yep.
AI is this by a factor of 10. You have a great philosophy on this because you're able to cut through the stuff so well. But this was one of the things that stopped me in my tracks when we first met. And you were in the halls of Buffco, and you'd become heavily referred by our mutual friend Darren Dawson, who was the co-founder of Bomb Bomb Videos. And, this guy's a great tech guy, and he's now running the tech stuff at Buffco. And I said to you, who's going to win and lose? And you went, instantly. And I love when a guy can have great answers instantly. You said, Brian, there's 2 losers and 1 winner.
Yep.
And it stopped me in my tracks. And I'd like you to give that gift to people. If you're listening to anything we're saying here today and you're curious at all about AI, there's going to be 2 types of losers and 1 type of winner.
Yeah. And this absolutely, and this really speaks to the number one question I'm being asked by press right now as we get ready for this launch is, Buffini is doing AI. And once you listen to the 2 winners and 1 losers, you see the misconception of how people see AI and not. There's the first loser is the person who ignores this. Mm-hmm. If you ignore this, like the internet, there is no real estate agent, no small business owner that has a successful business without the application of the internet. It doesn't exist. No. And same thing will happen. If you're going to sit back and say, I'm going to ignore this, you will lose.
Shoe Shine is the only person who doesn't have one.
Probably an Instagram account.
Yeah, true.
So the next loser, in my opinion, is the agent that's going to take this technology and put it between them and their consumer, who uses this technology to distance themselves from the consumer. And the easiest example is those people who think DocuSign's purpose is so that they never have to sit across the table from their client again. Right. And if that's how you're going to use it, good luck. But if you're using DocuSign to get an initial at 11:30 at night just to change the fridge out of the contract when your clients are already in pajamas and they got an early business morning, that's great customer service. So if you are listening to experts tell you to create a digital avatar of yourself to communicate with your clients, in my opinion, you are going to lose.
Okay, so I'm going to jump into coach mode here, right? Yep. So you have those that are scared of it and those who are abdicating everything to it. That's the 2 losers. And I hear that loud and clear. Stopped me in my tracks, and I said, Darren, I need to talk to this guy. So in the world we live in today, the number of people who come up to me, young people, 26, 27 years old, and they go, I want to retire within 3 years. And I go, huh? You want to what? When? Why?
Why? Exactly. That's where I go.
Why would you do that? And it's why? Because we've been sold this freaking bill of goods. They don't understand the fact. I want to travel. Here's the thing. I've had my own jet for 17 years. I've been all over the world. I could have stopped working 20 years ago. I'm more fired up and more pumped up and more on the treadmill, losing weight, excited about the future than I've been in years. There's a joy in it. There's a blessing in it. The way this is going to be sold to people is you're going to be sitting on your beach, sucking on a pina colada, and AI is going to do this, and they're just going to wire the funds into your bank. And that's how it's going to be sold, because that's always how it's sold. And that, my friends, is not happening. And if you do that, you will be losing in the AI game. So, number one, I'm just not technologically sound. I'm your poster child. And Michael Thorne has been able to already bring me along. I'm going to go through the modules just like our people starting tomorrow. Module number 1 hits. I'm so fired up. And I'm going to become extremely competent at AI. Now, I'm a guy that when I go to do a presentation, I don't even use a clicker. I bring a person. I've done 2,500 seminars. Danny, our producer, sitting here, he's like, thank God, kept me employed for 15 years. But I'll tell you this, I've become more proficient with AI in a short amount of time from just a little bit of the spillover from the training program that you've been developing. And it's like, hold on a second. And I'm developing confidence and competence with it. So, A, we're not going to be scared of it and ignore it. Otherwise, we're just going to be left behind. I will say this. It's illiteracy. Mm-hmm. It's not being able to read numbers in a bank, not being able to read words in a book. It's complete illiteracy. You will be to the 16th and 17th and 18th century a complete illiterate. And that you are doomed to a certain type of life because of your illiteracy. So we can't be scared of it. We got to learn. Number 2, we're not going to abdicate everything, and we're going to fall into the BS of what it is. Let's talk about the winners. Who is going to win with AI?
Yeah, the winner to me is so clear. It is the agent or the business owner that puts this technology behind them. You know, streamlining, business planning, doc prep, marketing ideas, SOPs, all these things, this back end busy work that needs to get done but doesn't produce the income, that 80-20 Pareto principle. And all that work streamlined, cutting a couple of hours out of your business each day, pushing you closer to your client. 2 hours so you can sit longer with a nervous first-time home buyer. 2 hours so that you can get those points of contact, those notes written and out to people and influence their lives. Longer at the listing table, longer in the buyer consultation. That's what drives our business.
By the way, and so we have the time to, because right now the busy work stops it from happening. We all know it. You know, the number one reason, when the market's good, the number one reason people sign up for our coaching program is organization. They feel overwhelmed. They want to get organized. Now, in markets like this, when people are tight, they're like, I need leads. Okay? And great, we can help you 10x your business. You have some numbers, and I'll be candid, and we know this. You know, I've had you in public settings dial down the truth.
Yep.
Because it literally sounds just too freaking good to be true. Yep. And I've said, Michael, I know it's true, but if you say that, I mean, we just don't have the time to build out the credibility. We've had these, I brought you into these different events, and there's been thousands of people, and this and I go, Michael, if you say that, they're going to be like, that's BS.
Yep.
On this format, we have the time to go into it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's talk about the efficiency. Let's talk about the quality. Let's talk about the numbers that you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a study from everywhere. There's amazing studies out of Stanford's that talks about the quality of medical diagnosis just skyrocketing from human only diagnosis. There's lots of it, but early on, and we're talking March 2023, MIT's report comes out along with some other ones, and it found professionals like you and me who use this technology could reduce time on task by up to 80%. You know, so that means what takes you 5 hours takes me 1. Then it found, and many studies find different numbers, but really consistently 40% improvement of quality of output.
Yeah.
So what takes you 5 hours takes me 1, and my 1 hour is 40% better than your 5. I mean, I don't know if there's any more to talk about.
No, look. And when I first came across that, I go, I like that. You know, if something looks too good to be true, it is. And so I've had to double, triple, quadruple, tenfold down on this to the point that I'm now at the place of acceptance. My own version of the 5 stages of grief. This one's been the 5 stages of embracing. And
but Brian, on that note too as well, on that reduction in time, it's up to. That means proficiency, knowledge, knowing how to do it. Yeah. It's not there for everyone who uses it. If you know how to use this technology properly in a very structured way, those are the gains you're going to get. If you're just sort of playing with it, you can't expect gains like that. And that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing.
Look, we have a bunch of small business owners on this call today that I believe will be able to quadruple their business and have the same number of staff.
Absolutely.
Massively increase their margins. And just like, hey, I don't have a studio like NBC with $25 million anchors and this and any other. I can reach as many people right here as they can. This AI is, and it's coming fast, and there's more investment behind it than anything that has ever happened in the history of the world. Everything begins with a T. There are trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. A buddy of mine who works in the White House, just today, they announced a $250 billion nuclear initiative for the power that AI is going to require.
Yep.
They're building those data centers up there in Alberta, the biggest buildings in the world. You can see them from space up in Canada. Like, this is not some Mickey Mouse thing. This is the whole world. And what I love about it is that it's egalitarian. This is going to make the small business owner big. This is going to take people who are like, okay, I make $100,000 a year, make $500,000 a year, and maybe not have to hire a certain person, and the quality goes up. So here it is. Here's what the promise is. And here's what the promise of this course is. And in 30 years of doing this business and absolutely delivering, 400,000 people have gone through our training programs with a promised result, and every time 400,000 people on average have exceeded the result. And we've been doing that for 30 years. And you've gone through this kind of the Navy SEAL training program to put your training program in place, right? Which is, it's arduous to be excellent. And here's what we're ready to do. Your admin, organizational, and structure work going to save you every 5 hours down into one and improve your quality 40%. And I just don't know anything that I have ever seen in my life that does that. And you don't have to throw people at the problem. You don't have to have stress at the problem. You don't have to have fixed expenses. You don't need bigger buildings. You need to be able to use it. So, okay, we talked the storm. Give me a couple of tips, right? For somebody who's just listening in today, give me a couple of examples, practical examples of how AI could streamline our daily lives.
So there's a bunch of different ways, but identifying things in your business that you want to have streamlined. I mean, there's nothing more important for a business owner to go, what should I use it for? That I don't know your ins and outs of your business. So if you have a repetitive task that you know what the structure is, and it could be analyzing HOA documents, it could be filling out, analyzing. In Canada, we have something called a deal sheet. Every single time we get an accepted offer, either for a buyer or a seller, we have to fill out this document called a deal sheet, which puts in, date of acceptance, the buyer and seller, the agents involved, the deposit structure, all that sort of takes 10 minutes. Well, using a program like Notebook LM, it takes me 6 seconds and it's done and it's perfect. So, at every turn where there's a predictable, repetitive task, that's an easy way to do it too as well. The next great opportunity is to get you to do things that you never had time for, to brainstorm ideas, to put together your business plan that you never actually get to look at creating some great content, some learning objectives, some SOPs, having that all structured. And if you already have a lot of that information, it's even better because you already have your language, your structure that you can improve on and reiterate on top of that. I mean, there's just so many things you can do. The truth is, and we'll take you through a bunch of different examples, the thing I am most excited about this training program is there'll be hundreds and hundreds of ways that people that take the training will use this technology to do incredible things in their business that I never thought of. Because it's not, it only does this, it only does that. It will do whatever you want in your business if you learn how to ask and structure it properly. That's the limit. So I am over the moon when I was at Peak Experience. The people came up to me and going, I already took this, your CFSP program, and I made it do this. And I went, I never thought of that. Right. That's the exciting part.
And that's what's really exciting, because we're going to be the only coaching program in America that's coaching behind us. When people come up with all the results, the only thing you're going to hear about AI is we have an app. This guy's got an app. This company's got an app. We got an app. And as you know, apps are simple and apps are shallow. We have a training program, and we're going to layer this on top of our coaching program for people, and it's going to blow people out of the water. And we're going to keep making it fresh and new as the tech changes and bring it up to speed. It's absolutely sensational. I'll give you a little example, Mike. You'd be so proud of me. For 7 years, they've been asking me to go down to Argentina. All of our training programs have been there for years. People's lives have been changed, all this type of stuff. And I'm like the Messi of public speaking in Argentina.
I saw the video.
You saw the videos, right? People going bananas. Well, you know what I did 24 hours before I went down there? Along with my staff, who are just barely sticking their toe into the water, into the leftovers of Michael Thorne's training. So the team that's helping you build out your content for months here, I sent one of my guys over, and in a 15-minute tutorial, here's what we did. We took all the videos that were things of great impact and inspiration, and for a public speaker that doesn't speak Spanish, went down there, and I delivered the goods, but at the most critical parts to move and stir the hearts of people, we were able to, in 24 hours, deliver in their dialect, not just Spanish, in their dialect, in their way, with their enunciation, with their heart, with their feeling and their emotion. I had people boo-hooing. Over the course of 3.5 days, I did 17.5 hours of meet and greet. And people were like, you never saw people become much more of a customer, so much more connected, so much more loyal, because I spoke to them in their language, their way. And it's one of, like I say, there are hundreds of ways to do this. And whenever there's hundreds of ways, people get overwhelmed.
Yep.
We're going to break it down. I love to systemize like Ray Kroc. Here's 17 pages on how to cook a French fry. We're going to start off with the biggest thing. And so we're going to help you get into this game. As you look forward here, again, tell us about as it's structured right now. What are the essential elements of this training program we're launching tomorrow?
Yeah, and that's one of the big benefits is it's live, right? And not only that we get to interact with the audience, but we are able to make sure we're flexing the curriculum, bringing you the most up-to-date information as it changes. So laying the foundation where every module builds off the next one, starting real practical, what it is and what it isn't, starting there with an introduction to AI, moving on to one of the large language models that's most popular. We understand ChatGPT, but like most tools, people use 5% of its capabilities. And we're going to go through and show you things like custom instructions, how to utilize its memory, build out projects, show you all that stuff. And then I think it's module 3 and 5 or something like that. Prompting. This is the key to all of it. This is your ability to communicate to the large language model, to ChatGPT, what you want. And most interesting enough, Brian, at Peak, there was a lot of people coming up to me, usually sweet, vulnerable, older agents that were saying, I'm scared. I don't know tech. I'm not a tech person. And the reason why this is there's such mass adoption is if you could communicate to a web designer over a cup of coffee what you want in your website, you don't need to know about coding. And because this is natural language, because you just need to kind of sort of articulate sort of rough what you want, the intelligence and the expertise on the other end translates that into the language it needs.
And you can refine and you can refine until it's
refine
until it's you.
Absolutely. And that is a big part of it too. DocuSign is a tool. Once it's done its job, it's done. This is a teammate. This is someone you would sit down and you would reiterate and you'd bounce back and forth on till you get that final product. And that's obviously going to change in this year and next year as we get on towards AI agents, which is a whole nother part of the course. And it's going to transform and be the most disruptive part of small business in the next 48 months. But all these skills is what you want to have. Once again, other people selling you an app does one particular thing. We're giving you the skill to build out exactly what you need for your business to take it to the next level.
So we're going to have this in such a way they can take it live, but we're also going to have it in a spot that, basically people can register this. They can take it in their own time, right? They can.
Oh yeah, and go back. I'm excited about this too as well. Is not only are we giving anyone who's just started the foundation, we're going to give people that are a little bit more advanced opportunities. But if you think you're a beginner, once you get to module 7, I encourage you to go back to module 1 because you'll start hearing and seeing things that you didn't pick up the first time because your skill set will start to be there. And so go back and rewatch and implement and do the homework. Come back next month. I think the biggest fear right now is, will I get left behind?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely, you should be worried about.
Here's the deal. You're already behind. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. This look. You'd have to be blind to not know what's going on. The stock market years ago has been making investments into these things. Many people own ETFs and funds that are AI is one of the biggest parts of this. This is not Bitcoin. Okay, this is not something that I never bought into. I didn't know its intrinsic value, and Bitcoin may well go up and do this and do that. No chance. This is how the world's going to work.
Absolutely. So if your fear is you're going to be left behind, that's another thing this course solves. Show up once a month. Do the homework, apply it in your business, come next month. You don't have to worry. You don't have to keep your eye on the news. That's what we're doing. We're going to keep you up to date on everything. We're going to test it in real world real estate applications all the time. Nothing we're presenting with you isn't something I haven't used in my business, right? And so not only will you learn the skill that's going to transfer your business, just the stress of not having to worry that you're going to be left behind, taking that off your shoulders, that's another huge benefit of
and you're going to be empowered. And how long is each module right now?
45 minutes to an hour, Q&A, interactive, and then, all the prompts that we talk about will be delivered. You'll be able to refine them for your business. All the training, all the takeaways as Buffini courses are done, where you get the workbooks, all that information, so that you I want people to implement and do this. I love agents. I have such a soft spot for them. This industry has been remarkable for myself and my family, and I want to see other people get that success. And so, not only do I want you to take the training, but I want you to
You know what? You're not going to believe this. I need to have ChatGPT do a little more prep on my pre-show content here. If people want to register for this, where do they go?
I believe it's buffini.com/AI bootcamp.
Buffini.com. I'm writing it down. .com. Danny, next time have AI do this for me. Buffini.com/AI bootcamp.
I believe so. And if you just go to the buffini.com, every single time I just pop on there, my face shows up. So I mean, it's
and you'll see that Michael has indeed got past the stage of being able to grow a mustache. He's got a legendary beard. He looks like a mountain man. Look, some of you have been listening to me for 9 years on the podcast. We just celebrated our 300th episode here a month ago. And here we are in this spot. I will say this. We have been very, very committed to this. Once my eyes got open to what the heck was actually going on here, I'm a guy that's made investments. I'm not scared. I see the future, and I want the future to be excellent. And so we started out with this, which, man, we are the best coaching company in the world. We can't have our clients be behind. And as I started getting into this, I don't want anybody to be behind. So there's lots of apps. There's lots of this. There is no training like this. You will be equipped. You'll know what to do. There's homework assignments. It's practice. It's done in the way that we've helped transform the entire industry by having 400,000 people go through our training program and get results. They're going to get results. You're going to hear stories. We're also going to garner, as we go on each month, people are going to be using this thing. We have an extremely creative, active user database, and they're going to say, "Oh, I did this and I did that," and there's stuff going to come out in 7 and 8 months into this thing you never heard. So you're committed to do this once a month for 12 months. Is that right?
Well, yes, and I hope for 3 years. I just don't think that's the way it's going to go. I just think there's no end. But absolutely, I'm.
Well, it's
super
called
excited.
the AI Bootcamp. You actually can go to Buffini.com. That's BUFF as in Frank, INI.com/AI Bootcamp. And by the way, if you tune in on June 11th, Brian Buffini will be sitting there with you. And I'm going to sit at the feet of a guy that, here's the key. He understands it, he utilizes it, and he knows how to teach it. And that, my friends, is a rare bird, because there's lots of tech people who really understand it, and they think you're a moron if you don't know. I have a trouble spelling MIT. Okay, there's not a lot of guys from the south side of Dublin ever made it in there who were house painters' sons. But here's what I can tell you. This AI technology, all my children, by the way, are taking this. All 6 of my children are taking this course. My children have gone to Mastermind over the years because I brought in these great personal growth and development speakers. I have a couple of kids that have real estate licenses because they're really interested in the business. But all 6 of my children are going through this boot camp. And the reason being is I don't want my children to be illiterate. I want my children to be able to prosper in the new world. And I'm just going to say this. If you don't know how to use AI, you are out of luck. You are illiterate, and the world is you're going to be like a person standing on the freeway and the car's going by. And I'm a guy who's a contrarian by nature. When they came out promising what the web was going to do, I said, hey, hang on a second here. This is what it'll do, and this is what it won't do. But I'll tell you right now, I believe this is absolutely the way for small businesses to become big without having to make big physical commitments. You don't need bigger buildings. Here's an example. Michael, you've been to our headquarters.
Yep.
Buffini and Company was a campus of 100,000 square feet. We had 4 buildings, this and that and the other. I'm in one building today of 30,000 square feet, and we use about half of it. In fact, I have this whole floor to myself right now, which is my studios and this and that and the other. I might as well put a bowling alley in here. And one of the reasons for that is not just the development of the world today, but it's actually where AI is going. And Buffco is leaning into this as an organization so we can improve our quality. We can do the high tech, but we're going to improve our high touch. And
Absolutely.
that's, as we land this plane here today, the end outcome. And I just want you to speak to that a little bit, because one of my favorite things is you did a great speaking engagement for you, and I sent you a gift basket. It was on St. Patrick's Day, and it had all this great Guinness goodies and whatever else. And you sent me a video and said, Brian, this is what AI can't do. Absolutely. And I love a guy who knows what it can and what it can't do. Ultimately, what's your hope for all these folks who are going to take this program over the next year?
Well, I hope, first of all, I hope they understand that they are going to do this, much like the internet. If you can accept that you are going to do it, digital divide works this way. As this moves and it becomes bigger and faster, it's harder to jump that divide.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it now. Because here's the difference. If you do it now, you will benefit from that change. You will grow. You will grab land because you're doing it. If you change because it's too painful not to, you will change just to keep up. But you're still going to change.
Yeah.
You're still going to have to do everything. You're still going to have to learn. You're still going to have to do it all. But you don't benefit from doing so. So hopefully the internet...
here's the deal. Change imposed is
Yes.
fear-based. Change embraced is aspirational-based.
Agreed.
We want to use AI to help people reach their goals, grow their business, change their life for the better, have more time for their clients, more time for their own health and well-being, more time for their family and loved ones. And in the meantime, we're going to leverage some amazing technologies that have simplified this process, that are radically intuitive, and to take all that admin and all that disorganization and all that dysfunction into these repeatable tasks. And next thing you know, Katie barred the door. Well, Michael, this is the beginning of many journeys together. As you well know, we're committed to this for the long haul. We're committed to you for the long haul. I'm so excited. I've never been so excited about technology in my life. And we have CRMs, and we've won awards in San Francisco for our technology. People think we're the old school calls, notes, and Popeye people. Yep. But I'll tell you right now, I've never seen that more practical in my life. And so I'm delighted that this is going to help people work by referral, live the good life, spend more time with their good customers, and more time with their health, well-being, and loved ones. And these tools, we're going to unleash them and make small business people big business people.
Love that.
Well, thanks for joining me today. Like I said, if you think this is an infomercial or something, well, God bless you. I get it. I've done 300 episodes, and you never heard anything like this. I've been doing this for 9 years because I haven't come across anything like this in 9 years. It's Buffini.com/AI Bootcamp. Check it out. Go on the website. See what's there. And come on in. The water's warm. We're starting tomorrow. We have all the content will be archived for everybody who gets involved. It's going to change your business, change your life. Michael, it's been a pleasure to have you here today, and it's a real honor to have you as part of the team here, bringing, demystifying something that has brought a lot of scarcity and scaredness to people, and empowering them to really change their life for the better.
Well, it's an absolute honor to be a part of it and to be around the amazing humans at Buffini and Company.
Great stuff. Well, my mother was AI long before AI because she just knew everything that needed to be known. She called herself a hive of useless information. And in her words today, I leave it with you. May the roads rise up to meet you, and may the wind always be at your back. May the rain fall soft upon your fields and the sunshine warm upon your face. And until we meet again, God has us all in the hollow of his hand. We'll see you soon on the AI platform.